Qualitative and quantitative research on crime rates increase. Introduction. Qualitative research aims to understand concepts, thoughts, and feelings through the researcher's expression in written works. This research provides in-depth insights into various problems that are not entirely understood. The process of collecting data and making sense of it can be done in a variety of ways. This essay will focus on both qualitative and quantitative approaches to establishing reasons for increased criminal cases in the community. Differences between qualitative and quantitative research methods. The approach that is taken in qualitative research is subjective because the researcher is intimately involved in the study. On the other hand, the approach that is taken in quantitative research is objective because the researcher is not involved in the study and instead focuses on attempting to be precise in their observations and analysis of the topic in order to respond to the inquiry. In qualitative research, inductive reasoning is used to synthesize the data, whereas deductive reasoning is used in quantitative research. Purposive sampling is the foundation of qualitative research, which involves selecting a small sample size to gain an in-depth understanding of the idea being studied. Quantitative research, on the other hand, is predicated on the use of random sampling, in which a sizable and representative sample is selected at random to extrapolate the results to the entire population. Analyzing the problem qualitatively and quantitatively. Since qualitative research methodologies require collecting data through social context and questions, the most successful strategy would be to ask community members. According to the textbook, evaluation elements include how residents interact, their gender, age, social environment, race, and the number of times they have filed a complaint with law enforcement. The qualitative research procedure consists of 4 steps: gathering feedback, coding comments, executing queries, and reporting the results. The topic of why the agency receives repeated complaints can be analyzed more effectively with the aid of the 4 stages. 1 shall make use of a survey. Given that individuals' responses will not be documented, they are more likely to give their honest opinion. Focus groups are an effective method for acquiring insight into individuals' difficulties. They have many traits in common with less organized interviews, but there is more to them than merely collecting the same information from several people at once. The police will be able to change their attitudes and reclaim the community's trust if they can determine the key reason why the majority of people file complaints. Justifying the selection of the method to obtain data to address the issue. Using surveys as a quantitative research instrument is the most efficient way to get to the bottom of a given subject. The ability to reply to surveys within focus groups will be available to individuals. However, unlike focus groups, surveys are typically conducted anonymously. As a result, respondents are more open and truthful without fear of punishment. Utilizing quantitative questions enables a person to obtain more questions in a survey and more responses to it. The questions answered in quantitative research are not as imprecise as those asked in qualitative research. This is the second advantage of surveying. Reasonable solution based on analysis. When various sectors of the criminal justice system and police agencies get a considerable number of complaints from the community, the feeling that they have been treated unfairly is often the primary cause. Investigating why the organization has received so many complaints is one technique that could be deemed a reasonable solution to the problem. The answer would arise from the discoveries gathered during the data collection method. Whether quantitative or qualitative methods are employed, the solution must always correspond with the facts. The solution, which is likely to result from examining the data, would be to build bridges. It would be done in order to raise levels of community trust. Conclusion. Research is the most effective strategy for developing any field of study, including criminal justice. Students, academics, criminal justice system experts, and government officials can all benefit from its assistance in determining effective approaches to law enforcement, incarceration, and crime prevention. Statistical studies that are conducted in a detached manner provide a shallower grasp of crime, criminals, and the procedures and functioning of the judicial system than other research approaches.